Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Monmouth County. My name is Angie Morfogan and my pronouns are she, her. I serve as chair of the Aesthetics Committee and a member of the Worship Committee. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. Our mission is to create community, transform ourselves, and transform the world. This morning, we welcome our guest minister, the Reverend Julie Newhall. A longtime member of UUCMC, serves as the UU Ocean County Congregation Minister and speaks at UUCMC annually. She has served as a hospital chaplain, a teacher of world religions, and as a minister of numerous UU fellowships and congregations, including the Auckland, New Zealand Unitarian Church. Bob Killian, at the suggestion of UUCMC's founding minister Harold Dean, and help from many members here, in 1975 founded the Monmouth County Friends of Clearwater and the Annual Clearwater Festival at Sandy Hook. Bob will sing a song or two from these efforts. A 50th anniversary festival was held in Asbury Park yesterday. I draw your attention to the backside of your orders of service for announcement and service information for next week. For those on the live stream and for video viewers, the order of service link is available to you in the YouTube service description box. After the service, those gathered in person are welcome to visit one another. Refreshments will be served in the community room, and people of all ages are welcome to visit with one another. If you are new to us, please do visit our website, UUCMC.org, where you can sign up to get all the latest news of the congregation by email. We look forward to getting to know you better. Please put your devices on silent as we enter into worship together.
Starts to rile up, that's the time a fellow needs a song. Doctor, banker, butcher, baker, you can be a merry maker if you'll keep on singing all day long. If you're hanging in suspense from 8 till 5, and you want to keep the sense of humor alive. Sing along if you know it. Just whistle while you walk. Put on that grin and start right into whistle loud and long. Just hum a merry tune. Just do your best, then take a rest and sing yourself a song. When there's too much to do, don't let it bother you. Forget your trouble, try to be just like a cheerful chickadee and whistle while you work. Come on, get smart, tune up and start to whistle while you work.
Thank you, Michael. That was a special request, as are the dwarves on the screens. Good morning. So glad to be with you again. So happy that it's a Labor Day service. I guess I'm the only one working today. Well, no, there are people working in the back. Michael's working, Angie's working. We're all working, but we're working for you. We're working for all of us together. These opening words from Reverend Barbara Pascan. In this familiar place, listen. Listen to the sounds of breathing, of creaking chairs, shuffling feet, clearing throats, and sighing all around. Know that each breath, movement, the glance meant for you or intercepted holds a life within it. These are signs that we choose to be in this company, have things to say to each other, things not yet said, but in each other's presence, still trembling behind our heart's doors, these doors closed but unlocked, each silent thing waiting on the threshold between unknowing and knowing, between hidden and being known. Find the silence among these people and listen to it all. Breathing, sighs, movement, holding back. Hear the tears that have not yet reached their eyes. Perhaps they are your own. Hear also the laughter building deep where joy abides, despite everything. Listen, rejoice, and say Amen. I've asked Deb Lawrence to light the chalice this morning. Deb has been a member here. She's been a member of the Ocean County congregation that I serve, and now she's back here at UUCMC. We light the chalice in recognition and celebration of the inner light in each of us, the light that we take out into the world and share with one another. Please rise and body your spirit as you're able, and let's join together in singing 1017, Building a New Way. Don't you love the jazziness of the way that Michael plays the piano? Thank you.
Quite welcome.
Our special guest today is Bob Killian, who was once a member here. Some of you were here when he was here a long time ago. Some of you are meeting him today for the first time. Harold Dean officiated at the wedding of Bob Killian and his wife Dorothy many years ago in the Rose Garden at Thompson Park. Bob's going to get up and tell us something about what he did while he was here working with members of the congregation and with Reverend Harold Dean, the founding minister of this congregation. Bob?
Okay. Well, thank you, Reverend Julie. It's so nice to be here. It's been a lot of years. This is about the most woke song that I know. It was written by a friend of mine named Pete Seeger. You know, this language that we speak is part German, part Latin, and part Greek, with Celtic and Arabic and Scandinavian all in a heap, well amended by the people on the street. Choctaw gave us the word okay, Vamoose a word from Mexico way. All of this is a hint, I suspect, of what comes next. I think that my whole world soon, mama, my whole wide world soon, mama, my whole world soon gonna be get mixed up. And the foods we eat, I like Polish sausage, I like Spanish rice, pizza pie is also nice, corn and beans from the Indians here, washed down with some German beer. Marco Polo traveled by camel and pony, brought to Italy the first macaroni. And you and I, just as well as we're able, put it all on the table. I think that my whole world soon, mama, my whole wide world soon, mama, my whole world soon gonna be get mixed up. There were no red-headed Irishmen before the Vikings landed in Ireland. How many Romans had dark curly hair before they brought slaves from Africa there? No race on earth is completely pure, nor is anyone's mind, and that's for sure. The winds mix the dust of every land, and so will women and men. I think that my whole world soon, mama, my whole wide world soon, mama, my whole world soon gonna be get mixed up. This doesn't mean we will all be the same. We'll have different faces and different names. Long live many different kinds of races. It's difference of opinion that makes horse races. Just remember the rule about rules, brother. What's right for one could be wrong for another. And take a tip from La Belle France. Vive la différence. I think that my whole world soon, mama, my whole wide world soon, mama, my whole world soon gonna be. Now you can sing this with me too. It's pretty simple. I can see you all out there. I want to see your mouths moving and maybe even hear you singing here. Soon, mama, my whole world. Soon, mama, my whole wide world. Soon, mama, my whole world. Soon gonna be get mixed up. Soon, mama, my whole world. Soon, mama, my whole wide world. Soon, mama, my whole world. Soon gonna be, do it again now. Soon, mama, my whole world. Soon, mama, my whole wide world. Soon, mama, my whole world. Soon gonna be get mixed up. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I know I only have a little bit of time, so I'm just going to give a little bit of a brief outline of what happened here back in 1975. I was traveling around with a hurdy-gurdy player named Sonia Malkeen, and she would play the hurdy-gurdy, if you know what a viol da gamba is, and I would play the banjo, and we had quite a unique little connection there. But we were traveling around doing concerts to raise money for the Hudson River sloop Clearwater up on the Hudson River. Pete Seeger had taken on the work of cleaning up the Hudson and turning it back into a beautiful river, making people understand that it's one of the greatest assets we have here in the United States. I had worked with him. I lived with him for 6 months with him and his wife Toshi up in Beacon, up at the homestead they had at the log cabin that he built with his hands. And I learned a lot about how to do things from him, how to set up festivals and how to perform. I hadn't really been a performer before I started hanging out with him and doing all that. But we had been traveling, Sonia and I, doing concerts. We went into Appalachia, we went out to Mystic Seaport, we played up in Woodstock, we did all these. And one of the places we had was here. Dick Levine, who had the Middletown Folk Festival going for years, he had made the arrangement for Sonia and I to come and perform at the first service, at the Sunday service, and then to do a concert in the afternoon. So we came and we did the service, and then we did the concert, and the concert was very successful. It was pretty much sold out, and everybody had a great time, and I started meeting all these wonderful UUs that were here at the time. And back at the reception, when we were back in the room there, Harold Dean, who was the minister at the time, came up to me and he said, why don't we have a Clearwater group working here in Monmouth County? Lord knows Raritan Bay needs attention. And I looked at him and I said, well, I took him seriously. I said, well, I guess it's because no one was willing to start it and keep it going until it caught on. And then there was this silence as he stared into my eyes. And finally he said, oh. And then I left and I went back up to Woodstock, and I had met Judy Marlowe, who was here, and we became friends. And that Harold said just kept reverberating in my mind. Because I grew up in New Jersey, and the first thing I did when I was 16 years old, I bought it. My mother said, we've got an insurance policy that's already matured, and it's for you. What do you want to do? You want to put it into a college fund? And I said, no, I want to buy a boat. So I bought a little 15-foot outboard motored boat, and my friend and I came down from Linden, New Jersey, and every time we had a chance, we would go down to Keansburg and push that boat out off the beach and get it out in the water, and we'd be water skiing out there and just having a wonderful teenage time on the water. One day we went down there, and there was something different about the water. It was kind of reddish, and it was thick. The waves weren't like breaking. They were kind of like moving, and we lost our interest in going down there. It was something told us, nah, you don't want to be in this water. There's something wrong here. So I had this memory from my childhood, from my teenage years, and all these years passed before I found myself in this church, meeting this minister for the first time, and him telling me, Lord knows the water needs attention. And that just kept reverberating, and I started coming down, and I visited with Judy a few times, and I met all these wonderful people here, a whole bunch of them. Judy Bavlinka, I could start naming people, Judy Marlowe, Judy Bavlinka, Peter Bellencampi is here, Ralph McGeehan was a part of it, and so I met these people, and I said, we could do something here. Dr. Robert Bob Tucker was working out at Sandy Hook at the Gateway National Recreation Area laboratories out there, trying to figure out how the Blue crabs were still alive in Sandy Hook Bay with all of the pollution that was there. He invited me to go out there and look and see what the kind of work he was doing there in the lab. So I went out and I saw the site out there at Fort Hancock, and I saw an appearance of a festival with thousands of people and all kinds of activist groups with people educating the population about what work they were doing. I just had a vision of it. So I went to the administrator and I asked him if we could do something like that, set up a folk festival. And it just so happened that he had been looking for a way to get people to start coming out to Fort Hancock, because at that time you couldn't go out there. You could go halfway out Sandy Hook, and then there was a gate there. Well, not a gate, but a gatehouse, and they wouldn't let you past it to go out to the other end of the park. So the government was trying to find a way to organize something to get people to come out there, so it was in an organized, safe way. And people were putting pressure on the politicians to make it open so people could go out there, because it was only half of Sandy Hook that was open to the public. So I came along with this festival, and this guy said, yeah, okay, let's do something. So we started the festival, and that led to a whole lot of things. I mean, I could talk for a long time about what our Monmouth County group did. One thing is the festival, and the festival was the idea that I learned from Pete Seeger of bringing people to the waterway so they could see how marvelous and beautiful it is, to inspire them to make it better, to clean up things, to stop the pollution, stop the destruction of the environment. And that's what it was all about. So getting people to come out there. And our Monmouth County group, you probably don't know it, but our Monmouth County group was responsible for stopping IF&F from dumping poisons year after year, day after day into Raritan Bay. And that was what made that water so red and thick at the time that I decided I didn't want to go out there in Raritan Bay again. And we also worked with National Lead, with Greenpeace, to stop National Lead from dumping arsenic into the bay. Now I understand there are whales that are occasionally seen in Raritan Bay, and there are dolphins, and there are seals that come up every year in the wintertime and all. The water has cleaned up, not just from us, no, but we had a good part. Monmouth County Clearwater had a good part in helping to clean up that environment in Raritan Bay. So Harold, wherever you are, thank you for asking me. And the group has been going for 50 years. The festival has happened every year. And not just the festival, but we had a traveling environmental festival going on where we would take a program into the schools. And we did tens of thousands of children in Monmouth County and surrounding counties, where we'd set up a whole education program in the all-purpose rooms and teach kids about cleaning up the environment, recycling, stopping pollution. It was a big program. We also have a sailboat. And if any of you sailors are out there and you're interested, we need some help with getting the sailboat going again. It's all ready. It just needs a little bit of attention to it. But for years, Tom Gibson, who's a longtime member of this congregation, he ran our program with this boat that we have. It's a Tuckerton Garvey, and we sailed it out on the Navesink River out of Red Bank, and it was free. If anybody who wanted to go Thursday nights or Wednesday nights, you go down to the river 6 o'clock and meet up, and no charge, just we want you to go out onto the river to see how beautiful it is, so we all know that it's something to be preserved and kept clean and made better, The oysters could be there. And if you're interested, go to New Jersey, njclearwater.org. That's all you have to remember, njclearwater.org. And you'll see a lot of places where you can get involved. And we could sail that boat. It's just sitting now, and we don't have a dock for it. So if you want to get involved, there's an opportunity. a song that I wrote. It's called There'll Come a Day, and there's a chorus on it. Would you like to come up, Fifi, and help me with this chorus and maybe show people what the part is that people would sing on it? This is my wife, Fifi, Dorothea. As Reverend Julie said, Harold Dean married us out at the Rose Garden out at Thompson Park, which unfortunately is no longer here. So this song is called There'll Come a Day, and the chorus goes, let the light, and that's your part, shine out upon the land, let the love flow out of everyone. And the way will break upon the darkness of the storm. There'll come a day, there'll come a day, there'll come a day, there'll come a day, yeah. There'll come a day when our rivers will run again, pure on their way. There'll come a time we'll cherish the life in our oceans and bays. Here comes now. Let the light shine out upon the land. Let the love flow out of everyone. And the way will break upon the darkness of the storm. There'll come a day, there'll come a day, there'll come a day when the wheels of war will evermore stand and decay. There'll come a time when the hunger in the youngest eyes will no longer stay, even in Gaza and in the Sudan and wherever. Let the light shine out upon the land. Let the love flow out of everyone. And the way will break upon the darkness of the storm. There'll come a day, there'll come a day, there'll come a day when justice and truth will rule all we will say. There'll come a time when the grifters and the felons for their crimes will pay. Let the light shine out upon the land. Let the love flow out of everyone. And the way will break upon the darkness of the storm. There'll come a day, there'll come a day, My friend Pete Seeger, he published this song in Sing Out magazine back in 1984. I didn't even know he was doing it, but all of a sudden there it was. And he liked the song so much he thought the chorus was so strong, but it needed more verses so people would sing the chorus more. So he took it upon himself to write a couple verses for the song. He didn't ask me, but when somebody like Pete Seeger decides that your song's good enough to add a chorus or verse or two, then you don't complain about that. So here's a verse that Pete wrote that's especially right for Labor Day weekend here. There'll come a day when you won't be denied a job for the color of your skin. There'll come a time there'll be equal pay for equal work, whether you project out or in. Let the light shine out upon the land. Let the love flow out of everyone, and the way will break up on the darkness of the storm. There'll come a day, there'll come a day. Here's another one that Pete wrote. Oh, you didn't know when you came here today that you could all sing so well. Well, the world doesn't know. It's within our own hands to make this globe a heaven or a hell. Let's make it a heaven for Pete's sake. Let the light shine out upon the land. Let the love flow out of everyone, and the way will break up on the darkness of the storm. I know there'll come a day, there'll come a day, there'll come a day, there'll come a day.
Every week in this congregation, we are provided with an opportunity to practice generosity. This is your invitation to contribute to the well-being of our congregation. For those of you present here in the meeting house, the plates will be passed by the ushers. Online, instructions are located in the service description box. You may join this time of generosity via text or send your offering by mail or charge your contribution online. Please give generously.
I'm guessing that some of you know the name of that song. It's the Internationale, the song of the workers of the world, whose work we celebrate tomorrow in this country. In 150 countries around the world, May 1st is what is known as Labor Day to us. We celebrate it the first Monday in September. It's interesting, isn't it, that we observe Labor Day by not going to work. Although some of us, as you see, are working. When I was in theological school, we were told to do 3-point sermons. I stopped writing sermons a long time ago, so I'm doing reflections, my spontaneous thoughts about what's going on. So there are 3 pieces today. One is about the history of International Workers' Day. One is about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and what does that have to do with Labor Day? And the other is about our responses to work, our feelings about work. Let me start with Snow White. The Seven Dwarfs are up there for you to see. The dwarves were the ones who took Snow White in and protected her. She had been poisoned by an apple offered to her by her wicked stepmother, disguised as an old hag. The dwarves were miners. They're miners. They went off to work every day with pickaxes over their shoulders, singing, hi-ho, 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 hi-ho. It's off to work we go. When I was a kid, we sang it this way, hi-ho, hi-ho. It's off to school we go. From 9 to 3, it's misery, hi-ho, hi-ho. School was work. School was work. There's a reason we identified with that song. Now, further on the story of Snow White, the origin of that story comes from the Grimm brothers, the fairy tale about Schneewittchen, the German story, that has some truth in it. Apparently, there were 2 women in the time that the Grimm brothers were collecting stories who had died under mysterious circumstances. They were thought to have been poisoned. They had difficult mothers. I hope there aren't any mothers here with poison anywhere in their houses. The 2 women died. The dwarves in real life were not actually dwarves. They were children forced to walk in the copper mines in Germany. Working in those mines affected their growth, and they were stunted. And so they ended up looking as though they were dwarves, although they were children who had been devastated by the work they did. This all ties in beautifully to the idea of International Workers' Day, because workers around the world have always had to struggle for recognition, for their rights, for financial gain, for recognition of themselves as being equal to those at the top of the heap. It doesn't matter what country you were in, what continent you were in, north, south, east, west, workers have always gotten the short end of the stick. Always. Serfs, indentured servants, enslaved people, free people who had no education, only vocational skills that could get them to work. Working at the hardest jobs, the agricultural work out in the fields, in the mines. You probably, if you're as old as I am, are well aware of the fact that there have been miners' strikes in this country many, many times, and not just here, but in Great Britain and other countries where coal is a big business. The United Coal Miners Union. Yes, demonized by the owners of those businesses, demonized by it. Think of those children working in the copper mines. Think of the 7 dwarves going off to work with their pickaxes over their shoulders and hi-ho, it's off to work we go. Songs by laborers have been part of our history for many, many years. Bob knows these songs. Interesting that he mentioned Pete Seeger. My father went to high school with Pete Seeger and talked about it. And I was really surprised when Bob told me the connection he had with Pete Seeger. Folk songs are often about the trials of the working class. You may recall that John Lennon wrote a line that said, "A working class hero is something to be." Yeah. How many people from the upper levels admired workers, took care of them, paid attention to them? Think about all the immigrants who came to this country and found themselves working on the streets, cleaning up the mess on the streets, the women who worked as servants in people's houses, cleaning their kitchens, preparing their meals, taking care of their children. This has gone on for generations and generations. International Workers' Day was a long time coming. It was a long time coming in this country. In fact, when you think about it, it's a very recent innovation to recognize that people who do the hard work, the dirty work, the mindless work, are the ones who need time off, who need to be congratulated and thanked for what they do. I don't know how many different jobs you all have had. I've had some pretty crummy jobs. Cleaning for other people, working in a kitchen as a serf in a kitchen. Some of you may have done this. You know, when you're younger, you tend to get the worst work. It's not until you get older that you can possibly climb up that ladder into a better niche, a better income. Now, let's think about work. That word comes up a lot in this country. I made a list of things I could think of off the top of my head, starting with the A. Artwork, beadwork, breath work, busy work, community work, dental work, homework, housework, social work, needlework, volunteer work, yard work, hourly workers, part-time work, women's work. You know, a woman's work is never done. Have you heard that? Yeah. Have you lived that? Yeah. How about road work ahead? That's my favorite sign when I'm driving, the great big orange sign, road work ahead. Oh, slow down, slow down. What about sanitation work and sanitation workers? Oh, doesn't New York City fall apart when they're on strike? Oh, yes, it does. Being out of work. Been there too. What about worker bees? The worker bees that do the work. Yeah, they're not the queens. No, they're the workers. Then we have kitchen workers, hard workers, lazy workers. Calling someone a piece of work. Hey, she's a piece of work. He's a piece of work. What about a workload? Have you ever been concerned about your workload? Once upon a time, I was a total workaholic. I worked all the time. I was teaching in the Netherlands. I taught 5 different classes. I had a full-time job. I went home and taught villagers where my farmhouse was to speak English. I was part of an initiative to launch a women's cafe in town, which infuriated a lot of people. I also started a women's festival in the university where I taught. I was busy. I was busy, busy, busy. And actually the reason I was busy was not just that I liked what I did. It was because I was afraid of alone time. I was afraid of not being busy. What would happen if I didn't have responsibilities, things that had to be done for other people? It's very, very difficult to be out of work. If you've been out of work, you know what that's like. It can be soul-crushing. You have no purpose when you're out of work. You have no place you have to be. There's no place for you. It's a terrible situation. And we often ignore how hard that is for people who are unemployed. is very painful. So think of your workload. Think of Men at Work. There was an Australian band called Men at Work. It was hugely successful back in the early 80s. We come from the land down under, where women work and men thunder. Yes, someone's raising a hand, a fist, yes. I used to play that album over and over again. It made me want to get up and do something. We don't use the word labor very much. We use it for when we're in labor, an experience a lot of people would rather skip. We talk about belaboring the point, which I'm doing right now, and we talk about being laborious when something is laborious. I would just like to say that when I was in theological school and I had to learn to split sermons into these 3 parts and then at the end repeat everything I had just said to make sure everybody heard it, I had to write a lot of papers. The first semester at Drew Theological School involved writing 40 term papers in 3 months. I thought I was going to die. I had to change my entire schedule, stay up till 2 o'clock at night, every night, reading, writing, and turning out work. One day, I found myself sitting in an empty room. There was a long refectory table there, and I was sitting at the table, looking at the pile of work in front of me, sighing. I'm very good at sighing. I was sighing. Oh, God. Did I say that? Oh, God. I looked at that pile and I started bitching about it out loud. I was the only person in the room. And then suddenly someone walked in. I don't remember who it was. Walked in, stood beside me, right next to me, looked down at what was on the table and said, "You know, Julie, when you do it with love, it's not work." That was 25 years ago. And that is the lesson I learned from that experience. When you do it with love, it's not work. Something to think about in the days, weeks, months, and years ahead. Putting love into what you do. Snow White was very lucky. She was protected by the dwarves until her prince came. You know the other song from that movie, "Someday My Prince Will Come"? That's a fairy tale. Her prince came. And he kissed her, the glass casket was taken off of her, and then the happy ending. Back in the 70s and 60s, there was a line about, what if the prince doesn't come? What if the prince doesn't come? Well, then you have to do your work with a lot of love. A lot of love. The love for the prince goes to your work. Our next song is a song you'll recognize from Snow White. Michael?
just keep on singing all day long. Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, all seven in a row. You positively can't go wrong with a hi, hi, ho.
Let's breathe in and out together. Breathing in and out and in and out and in and out. These words from Marge Piercy. The people I love the best jump into work head first, without dallying in the shallows, and swim off with sure strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black, sleek heads of seals, bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire must be put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands and crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing, well done, has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil. Our closing hymn is Around. It's hymn number 1023, Building Bridges. Michael is going to lead us in it. Yes?
Yes, because it's a round with 4 lines, even lines, I like to do this so you can hear the different melodies around you sporadically and be surrounded in the counterpoint of it. We'll all come in separately. If your birthday is between January and March, you will come in first. And then if you were born between April and June, come in second. If you're born between July and October, come in third. Sorry, July and September, come in third. And then between October and December, you come in fourth. So I'll play the whole thing through once, and I will come in with each of those entrances so you know. And I'll sing and play the whole thing as I accompany myself. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet
Yeah, if you're feeling good. All right, January to March is first. Ready? Building bridges between our divisions. Next, building bridges between our divisions. Third, building bridges between our divisions. Last, building bridges between our
Please be seated. I invite you to close your eyes for these last words of the service. As you go forth today, may you be led by faith, faith in the possibility of goodness, and not by fear, fear of the other, fear of the unknown. May you remember to extend your hands in love to those you meet along the way. Our hands are the hands that build heaven on earth. May you also remember to walk gently on the earth, this garden planet that carries each of us alone and yet all of us together across the sky. Go in peace to bring more justice into the world. Amen.